Hello everyone, welcome back to Remind, knowledge sharing channel self-development through good books. This week, I want to share with you an incredibly valuable book.
On October 6, the 82-year-old French writer Annie Ernaux was awarded the 2022 Nobel Prize in Literature. The reason is that, with courage and clinical sensitivity, she has uncovered the roots of alienation and constraints in human memory. Her masterpiece, The Years, has been widely embraced by the public and has profoundly influenced millions of readers. This is an incredibly unique autobiography. Annie Ernaux recounts her life without using the pronoun I, instead employing we or she. She draws on collective and personal memories, combined with a sociological perspective, to narrate in the most authentic and vivid way the growth process of a woman from childhood to old age over 60 years amid a constantly changing life. The Years is like an album of old photos where each time we look at them, we can clearly see the mistakes, disappointments, and sufferings at different stages of life. It is at these moments that every decision can change a person's destiny for a lifetime. Some choose correctly, some keep making mistakes, some move forward, some remain stuck in the past. Reading this book, you can follow the author through her life's journey, where there are both thorns and flowers, to understand how you should live and what decisions to make at each stage of life. And now I invite you to listen to a sharing from Remind titled 3 Decisions That Change a Lifetime through the autobiography, The Years, by author Annie Ernaux. Part 1, Decisions in Youth. Ernaux, when young, always had lines of text that help you go against the flow. Annie was born in a small town in Normandy, France. Her life was impoverished from childhood. The place she lived had only low, dilapidated houses with rotting furniture. Due to the harsh living environment, children there continually died of hunger and infectious diseases every year. Her father originally worked on a farm and later as a factory worker, while her mother dropped out of school early, got married, and sold miscellaneous goods. But financial limitations and physical hardships may have eroded the love and warmth parents give to their children. In Annie's memories, her father was an alcoholic, very rough in speech and behavior. Her mother was extremely strict. People living at the bottom of society cannot change their current circumstances on their own, so they placed all hopes for a better future on their children. In the years she grew up, society was very conservative toward girls. No matter how beautiful, educated, or intelligent, it was not as important as preserving one's chastity and dignity. Under that value system, the mother became the strictest supervisor for her child until marriage. As a girl, she was not allowed to watch movies or read any content related to love, not allowed to wear short skirts or colorful clothes. In her teenage years, Annie never went out alone or attended any party to meet outsiders. The young Annie became increasingly curious about the feeling of being loved. She secretly watched movies and read romance novels, then tried dating a boy. But Annie worried that the excuses for going out would sooner or later be exposed, so she had to quickly end the relationship. Until she turned 18, Annie had the opportunity to study and work part-time at a summer camp. She felt she was finally free. At this time, she was at a missionary school. Annie had a tall, slim figure and dressed simply. On the outside, she was an obedient, diligent, and studious girl, but inside, she had many desires. She often envied her classmates from wealthy families, wanting to dress fashionably like them to receive attention and affection. Then one day at her first dance party in life, Annie deliberately removed her thick glasses and let her hair down to look prettier. A man named H, the group leader, the first guy to invite Annie to dance, took advantage of a few seconds when the room lights went out to steal a kiss from her. Actually, she had noticed this tall, blonde, charming guy from before. Unexpectedly, H took the initiative with her. This was a completely new experience for Annie. She thought she was about to have a wonderful romance. However, in reality, H was a playboy expert, and he only intended to toy with her. On the second day, Annie discovered H was with another beautiful girl. Too desperate, Annie ran out of H's room. But unfortunately, she was witnessed by some camp friends who immediately surrounded her, mocking her embarrassing failure. They poured buckets of water over Annie. The screams and ridicule grew louder through her wet hair. She saw H, then dashed out of the crowd, shouting H's name for help and throwing herself into his arms. But H just smirked without saying anything and turned back to his room. Annie was deeply hurt and disappointed in love. From then on, she lost herself and began participating in wild parties, dancing, playing recklessly, and living rebelliously. She also started hating school, neglecting part-time work, so the summer camp rejected her job application. But what hurt the most was that the indulgence made the young girl taste bitter fruit early. She discovered she was pregnant unintentionally. What would her life be like next? How to face her parents and the conservative society at that time? Just imagining it makes one suffocate and heartbroken. The feeling of fear, loneliness, and helplessness amid the flow of life engulfed this 18-year-old girl. She didn't know what to do, but in that moment of despair, a light at the end of the road flickered up. One time, Annie read a book titled The Second Sex. From this book, Annie woke up as if from a dream. She realized the relationship between her and H was not equal at all. There was no love. He only saw her as a tool to kill loneliness, a victim he could abandon at will. Annie wanted to become an independent and self-reliant person. She had to escape this ignorant life. She also realized that only diligent study was the only way to redeem herself. So Annie mustered all her courage to secretly abort the pregnancy, put on simple clothes again, and immersed herself in a sea of books. Finally, thanks to hard study, she passed the university entrance exam. After entering university, she felt happier than ever. She read a lot of books, studied literature, practiced writing, paid attention to social issues, participated in various activities, and won the highest scholarship. After graduation, Annie became a teacher. At that time, she had a decent job, could be independent in a big city, and completely escape the nightmare of the slum before. Thanks to her study efforts, she stepped out of bottom society life on her own. Thanks to reading many books, she opened a new world for herself and found her own path. When young, choosing to study seems simple to many, but it can affect the direction of an entire life. Annie's journey in youth, like in the book, once again proves to us that education is not only a way to escape poverty, but also the most powerful tool to help a person rely on their own strength to wing their future. Many people say that study is not the only escape and not the best way to get rich and succeed, but in reality, for many ordinary people, especially children living in difficult conditions, studying and reading many books is the shortest way to change fate. This is not an empty theoretical saying, but a statement with immense weight, and perhaps we have to go to the end of life to feel its gravity. I myself am someone who now, every day from the bottom of my heart, is immensely grateful to my mother. Despite how difficult the family economy was, despite having to shoulder raising a child alone for over 20 years, my mother still tried her best to let me go to school, and that opportunity helped me go to school and make friends with books. And these books completely changed my fate. They helped me expand my vision, allow me to look up to the stars even when stuck in mud, sweep away biases, surpass mediocrity, love both extremes of suffering and happiness, accept what is imperfect, and embrace it all to know how great the power of love and dedication is. Like a writer's saying, books are the most patient and pleasant companions. They will never abandon you. There are many difficult thresholds in life. Thanks to books, I could easily overcome them. Books nurture and enrich anyone's inner world, help us accumulate changes little by little to become a remind of ourselves. Yesterday, where footsteps cannot measure, the lines in books can. If not reading books and not constantly enriching one's connotation, even if going thousands of miles to every corner, we are just like a postman. Each book is like a door. Where you want to go depends on you. I have a cousin in the countryside who once messaged me asking, what should I choose now? My dad says girls shouldn't study high, finish high school is enough, go work to help the family, then get married. I asked her, so what do you think? She said, I don't know anymore. My dad only supports my review this year. I want to, but over 3 years, much knowledge. I lost the foundation. I'm afraid if I take the exam, I'll fail. Then the family, everyone will criticize and blame me. I told her, don't be afraid. If not pass this year, take it next year. I'll support the review money because looking back at my last high school days, a sudden heavy fate came that made me unable to take the university exam. A year later, when recovered, the official exam time was only less than a month left. No one believed I could pass. Even family members said, prepare to work as a worker is better. Only my mother, from beginning to end, always supported me. Finally, with all possible effort, I succeeded in reviewing all last year high school knowledge, trying exam papers in 1 month, and got accepted into the desired major. So for my cousin's case, I believe if determined enough and have support, it will surely succeed even if not get the desired major. The process of training perseverance will help a lot for later life. But she finally gave up. Indeed, the saying our fate is in our own hands is not wrong. More accurately, a life's fate has many forks. One right decision will take you to a life experience with higher energy level. But some paths, one wrong step, thousands of later steps wrong. In such life decisions, studying and reading is the best way to help you go against the flow. Outside, there are countless people yearning to study, yearning to immerse in book pages, but cannot. So if you have the opportunity to study, to read, don't complain about the difficulties it brings. Even if you once stumbled upon circumstances not allowing study when young, don't be sad because you can still self-improve every day through reading and improving level. If in the future have conditions, you can also join university courses for adults. This is not strange because when I studied abroad, I had many classmates who are elderly, even 50, 60 years old. Not only completely normal, but everyone admires those special classmates. Along with that, be patient and passionate about reading. Believe that as long as you maintain this habit, bringing many unexpected benefits, those books one day will touch your heart and mind, change your life comprehensively. They will help you live calmly, strongly face all challenges, provide deep insights, open thinking more, help you develop skills, and easily find true joy in life. Part 2, Decisions in Middle Age. Crossing the 20s, the decision to stop at the right time to go further. Annie once tasted forbidden fruit in high school, so at 25, she was especially cautious in love and marriage. However, young people at that time generally had to actively start families, marry early and have children, because if single too long would be gossiped, even boycotted to integrate and have stories to talk with peers. Annie also followed the crowd, shelved career, and married as soon as possible. Only in a few years, she married a man not suitable for her and successively gave birth to 2 sons. Her husband came from an intellectual family working in state agency. After marriage, husband's side provided her with ample material conditions. They moved to live in a big house fully equipped, but marriage life made Annie busy from dawn to dusk. Every day she both worked and did housework and cared for children. After giving birth to the second, she abandoned spiritual life, stopped reading and writing, but only focused on solving practical issues. The husband occasionally helped a little housework, but mostly absent. Under the influence of writer Simone de Beauvoir and women's rights movement in France, she once pursued equal love and wanted husband-wife to have spiritual bond, mutual support. But in reality, besides talking about parents and children, she and husband almost had no common point to chat anymore. Their life was very boring. All things on her shoulders. If Annie absent one day, the whole family simply couldn't operate normally. Life like that lasted over 10 years. In those busy moments, Annie sometimes felt her existence very unreal. Couldn't imagine that the 20-year-old Annie that year, full of passion and vowed to publish a novel at 25 or die. But now her pen was dusted in a corner, even appearance not cared for, hair combed back, loose skirts, smile still on lips. But she always looked tired. At 40, she felt she had distanced from her true self very much. In one family trip to Spain, sitting on a cafe terrace, Annie specially observed women from 35 to 50 years old. Then she suddenly asked herself, those who before were also radiant young girls, but now why have they become like this? Annie suddenly felt a fear crisis coming. She seemed to realize the truth that she only has one life. If continue living like this, then when old, she will still only be a soulless person, a tired, bored machine, not caring about anything. So finally, she decisively ended this wrong marriage and lived alone with 2 sons. You will see that sometimes timely preventing loss, stopping at the right time, is the highest discipline Western has. Proverb, don't cry over spilled milk. But why many people still cannot resist this and live crying all life over spilled milk drops like that. In economics, there's a term called sunk costs to refer to paid amounts and cannot recover. Life is like that. Many people often reluctantly because already spent many sunk costs, so dare not stop, buy movie ticket, Sight half hour and realize it's a bad movie, but still watch to end because already spent money. Buy ticket to a tourist spot, disappointed and tired because crowded people, everything not like advertised images. Then also try to go, all because already came here being with a person, many years even knowing that person with all kinds, bad habits, gambling, alcohol addiction, meat, cheating, betrayal, and not respect oneself, but because self-invested too much money, time, emotion costs, so still continue a job, day draining both strength and spirit, but because long-term employee, so don't want change job. When sunk cost arises instinctively, people will grit teeth and continue. This thinking has rooted in many people's subconscious. We always fear loss. We can achieve more when brave stop at right time. Yakos once said 90%. Life pain comes from not knowing how to stop. Timely mistakes everyone will make. Mistakes go wrong way, see wrong person, do wrong thing. Like making mistake, not scary. Scary is no wrong, but not enough courage to accept loss and give self a chance to start again. Like writer Lum and Gudung once said, better wise abandon than blind persistence. Sometimes stop is to let you go further. This is a kind of progress can also say is a spectacular victory. If your body-mind now too tired, then only way allow stop to look inside to have enough courage. Self-hand turn a new page for self. Let go bad things in past, avoid toxic people, end unworthy persistence. The top human wisdom is always leave room for self-retreat and timely stop at right time. Part 3, decisions in old age. When crossing middle age, don't hesitate to expand life boundaries. Future is totality of change efforts. But last year's Annie threw away all chains, no longer limit self and role of wife or mother. Anymore she lived as self. She moved elsewhere, sold old furniture, bid farewell past, and started enjoying life fully. Her attitude in raising children also changed. She no longer worried 100 household things to every detail, not concerned with every move of children anymore. Instead, encouraged them, live independent. She also abandoned anxiety about age and status, no longer care about others' eyes and comments. When children started, families lived separately. She increasingly comfortable in quiet life alone, like a youthful girl, free, carefree. She all day busy reading books nonstop, enriching inner self, though age very high face already imprinted time marks, but she's still full energy. She nonstop read, nonstop write with breakthroughs in creation. Finally, at 82, she honored with most prestigious award in literature field, Nobel Prize. Her story not only strong motivation source, but also endless inspiration source for many people. Precisely thanks escaping worldly chains, she had strong willpower and experienced wonderful old age time period. Life seems very long, but time you can live for self extremely short. A reality is many people living whole life for others. When child study for parents, when youth pursue success to get recognition from surrounding people, when start family, life for spouse children, when old spiritual life send all to grandchildren. Step to end life, look back. They seem did many things but actually repeating a model in narrow space. Only when a person no longer defines self, who I am, who I was, who I must become, and not limited by roles, titles, then they can develop maximum potential and expand boundaries for their life. Last year's Annie found true life's purpose. That is allowing self do things self-like with your human value, a person will always know, enrich inner calm, be self will meet countless beautiful things as well as surprises on this life road compared to other Nobel winner stories. Annie writes, seem normal. She records authentically, era changes in self. No past romantic ups, downs, no shocking plots. However, whether school time, when grow-ups start family, when old live alone, they all cause deep resonance in readers' hearts because this is an extremely normal living state. Of most all people, like excerpt nature once said, no one can build a bridge for you. Cross life river, no one except self. Life like a long river at different river bends. We always meet separate difficulties, but I always believe that when you cross thousands, rivers, mountains, overcome all ups, downs, as long as have awakening desire, then no matter how finely you also can return to self. Thank you for listening. If you feel this video useful, please share to those need it. Don't forget, gift me a like button, press subscribe button and open bell notification to watch newest videos each week. Once again, thank you all and see you in next videos.